Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime. Today we are back to talk about Mica Acacia's case, otherwise known as Mica Miller, the wife, estranged wife of Pastor J.P. Miller, and her what seems to be mysterious death on April 27th. So thank you all for being here. Welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. Welcome to all my patrons, members, existing subscribers, any family and friends of Mica, and anyone who's new here. Thank you so much for being here. This is a tough case. I don't know about you, but it's, a very disturbing case, no matter what the outcome is going to be. Whether they decide that it's suicide or homicide, it is so devastating to learn as we go along about all the things that Mica went through. So we might get an update from police soon, I would hope. There's a little news article I saw where they said they might update the public tomorrow on something of the investigation. So we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, I really think the police need to say something at this point because now it's become viral. It's a very high profile case now. So the thing is that's when we know more and more rabbit holes will form, more and more rumors will go around, gossip, and then some important information, but it's just, it's a very wild case. Okay, so thank you for being here. We're going to look at these documents now. Thank you so much to Grizzly Cat for helping me get these documents. These actually are from Fitz News, and then we've got the two police incident reports as well to look at that we are going to do. Please know there's trigger warning, of course. This case, from everything that we're seeing and the documents, involves domestic violence, possible suicide. I don't know about homicide, not sure. Okay, so we will just look at this here. So this is a 18-page document. I'm going to read from page 6 because that's where the background information really starts. I just want to check. Can you guys hear me properly? Sometimes I just have to change a little setting. Let me just double check my sound. Yeah, see, I'm going to boost it just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. Okay, so this is a background. Now, firstly, this document is, it says case number 2024 ES. And it was stamped, when does it say? May. Can't really see the date there. But it gives us a little bit of insight from Mica's family about what she was going through, right? KK's way said, did her husband try and leave the country? I don't know. There's so many rumors right now. I can't vet any of that. There's really so many rumors. It's unbelievable what I've heard in the last 12 hours and what I'm receiving on email. There's a lot, okay? So I'm just going to, today, when it feels like it is a storm, of course, I like to read documents. I like to usually show a press conference or something from the police, but we're not hearing from them yet. So we're going to look at documents today, okay? Those rumors are going to grow. And so I would say just take it with a grain of salt. And don't get stuck down those rabbit holes, right? I'm not debunking them. I'm just saying don't get stuck down those rabbit holes because it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's almost like a two-layered case at the moment. There's what happened to Mica, and what the hell has the pastor been up to? Because it seemed like a lot of shady things. A lot. Okay, so I don't know. It's like his double life and things like that are coming out, and it's just terrible. All right, so Aldo says, is that what he just been served with a minute ago? I do not know about that. So please send me any updates while I'm live here if anyone's been served with anything. Because that I do not have, okay? So, background. Petitioner is the sister of decedent Mica Acacia Miller, who died on April 27th of 2024 under what is being referred to as suspicious circumstances, which are currently being investigated by the Robeson County authorities. Just prior to her death on April 15th of 2024, the decedent filed for divorce from her husband, John Paul Jones. I don't know why they write Jones there. I'm like, John Paul who now? Jones. Miller, Jones. Let me just make myself a little brighter so you can actually see me. How about that? Okay. So, he's John Paul Miller. Now, they say, look at the timing. The timing, it's just unbelievable. And on April 25th of 2024, the decedent's husband was duly served with a copy of the family court proceedings. And then, on April 27th of 2024, the petitioner was found deceased. Oh man. A hearing as to the decedent's motion for temporary relief in the family court proceedings has been scheduled for June 5th of 2024. The petitioner seeks to be appointed as special administrator for the estate of Mica Acacia Miller for two specific purposes. One, to preserve the decedent's interest in the marital estate, and two, to determine whether a last will and testament exists as further described below and in the attached exhibits. Okay? I hope that you guys are familiar with this case. I should say that. If you're not, if you're brand new here, please check out the previous live streams that we've done. I think this is maybe the third live stream that we've done on this case. We did a deep dive, which is linked below for you. This is the third one, yeah. And now, so today we're just going to focus on these documents, right? So, the petitioner seeks to be appointed as a special administrator in order to preserve the decedent's interest in the marital estate. I'm guessing it's marital and not martial, right? They keep on writing martial. Okay, though the decedent's claims for divorce and support would have abated upon her death, the claim for equitable apportionment as to the marital estate remains. Okay, so I'm gonna go forward because I know you want to hear these types of details. Just hold on one second. It's a bit long. It's a bit of a long document. I've read through all of this, okay? I will be sure to put it on Patreon as well afterwards. For everyone, you don't have to be a paying patron or anything. I'll make it available on there for you to read yourself. So they just said the petitioner is aware that the creation and filing of the decedent's power of attorney, that some level of estate planning exists. What the petitioner does not know and currently has no grounds under which to inquire into further is whether part of this estate planning included the preparation and signing of a last will and testament, which could impact the decedent's estate. While the decedent's estranged husband might know the answer to this question, if the answer to whether she had a will was answered in the affirmative and such would not benefit him, due in large part to the allegations of abuse and the pending divorce proceedings, he would be better served through intestate succession, which would make him the sole heir to the decedent's estate. Had the decedent created a will and sought to limit her estranged husband's share of same or disinherit him entirely, is what petitioner seeks to determine by requesting any such relevant estate planning documents. This is especially relevant as to the petitioner's need to preserve the decedent's interest in the marital estate and subsequent distribution of the same. So they say, finally, for both of the reasons mentioned above and due to John Paul Miller's potential exclusion from benefiting from the decedent's estate, I'm glad they're being so protective of her family, is like really fighting for her. I'm very proud of them. It's very hard in the situation, right? The potential exclusion from benefiting from the decedent's estate under the SC Code 622803, it would be improvident to give him control over the decedent's estate despite the two still being legally married. As initially mentioned, the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the decedent's death are still being actively investigated by law enforcement. Circumstances exist to indicate that John Paul Miller may be a person of interest in connection with his wife's death, but that will take law enforcement additional time to determine. Did you guys see my community post? Because I posted a few screenshots there that are important to look at. We can look at that afterwards, okay? So they are still investigating, and they will hopefully update everyone soon. If he is convicted of having a role in her death, this would preclude him from benefiting from the decedent's estate pursuant to South Carolina Code, more colloquially, I'm so like tongue tied on that now, known as the Slayer Statute. However, in the absence of such a conviction or guilty plea establishing the criminal accountability for the decedent's death, the South Carolina Code allows a court, upon the petition of an interested person, to determine whether, upon the preponderance of the evidence standard, the individual would be found responsible for the death. Although this is yet to be determined, it is still an important factor in the petitioner's request to be appointed, as the possibility of this disqualification creates the implication that he would not act in the best interest of the decedent's estate. See the enclosed affidavits of Sierra Francis and Nathaniel Francis as supporting, so it's her sister and brother, okay, with supporting affidavits. And that's what gets very interesting of like just learning a little bit more about, what Mica was going through. Because we've heard, on Reddit and Facebook and all of that. So we've got to take that with a grain of salt. And it was just very upsetting to hear about all of that. And as you guys know, I'm very protective of victims and their families. And by that, I mean victims and their families, not the estranged husbands with lots of charges of allegedly even abusing their ex-wife. You know what I mean? Like him, I'm just like, wow. And as I don't know if Joe Giacalone is here. He's a former NYPD sergeant, but he had a show this morning on his channel. I'll link it below afterwards for you for roll call. And him and another retired officer were talking about this case and just saying, yes, we have to wait for the police, but it doesn't change with this guy. I mean, he's not very likable, the pastor. You know, he could be a 100% scumbag and not be responsible directly for Mica's death. But I would still, argue if he pushed her so far mentally that she decided to drive out there on a Saturday, call 911 herself and take her own life, shouldn't he be held responsible? I don't know, man. So anyway, they say we're going to look at these enclosed affidavits now from Sierra, her sister, and Nathaniel, her brother, supporting evidence of the potential for culpability in the decedent's death. Additionally, prior to her death, the decedent sought a restraining order against John Paul, though it's believed the restraining order was ultimately not issued. And that's sad. You know, I mean, we know that restraining orders, protective orders, we know these DV cases, right? The most dangerous time is when someone is leaving or trying to separate. And then on top of that, when you just have the paperwork of a protective order, sometimes that doesn't protect people either. But to be denied that restraining order, that sucks. They said, conclusion, therefore, based on the foregoing, the petitioner respectfully requests that the court issue an order appointing her as special administrator of the decedent's estate. So here they have a couple of exhibits. Exhibit A, okay, Myrtle Beach woman's death under investigation in the Robeson County. Yeah, as I say, I really hope they say something official soon, like on their own Facebook page, because they are posting on their Facebook page, just not at all about this case. I know that usually it means they're quiet, they're working behind the scenes, they're getting all their ducks in a row. But I just think at this point, the pace at which this case is going is stressful, scary, and I think they need to say something, right? Fiona, welcome. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. So, Robeson County, hope I'm saying it right now, Robeson County, North Carolina. Major Damian McLean with the Robeson County Sheriff's Office said that they are actively investigating the death of 30-year-old Mica Miller. McLean said that Miller died last week in the Orem community of Robeson County. Miller's obituary said she's from the Myrtle Beach area. McLean added that officers are in the process of gathering information. Now, this is important as well, from people in South Carolina and North Carolina as part of the investigation into how Miller died. So that's interesting. They didn't just say, oh, okay, well, she died in North Carolina and case closed, we're done. They are looking, they are gathering information from people in South Carolina and North Carolina as part of the investigation into how she died. Okay, so hope for me. Oh, thank you. Sorry to hear that. So that's good news. Okay, they're investigating properly, thoroughly. I have full faith they're doing that. I know some people say this law enforcement in this area is not so great or whatever. I don't know if it's like small town. I don't know them. I just have full faith that they are investigating this properly. And I do think that social media plays a role in cases like this too, because really the whole world is watching, right? And people mustn't forget the importance of that as well, because people are very quick to be like, these freaking YouTubers, talking about the case. But at least it puts the attention, the spotlight on the case, and the police know, damn, we better look at this. And I'm not saying they wouldn't ordinarily, but sometimes the little bit of public pressure does help, So McLean added that officers are in the process of gathering information. He said at some point the investigation, at this point, has not revealed any information that indicates that there's a danger to the community following her death. Her obituary reads, and we've already read that, right? Okay, so we've read that he wrote. All I know, because there is this rumor going around that on Sunday after her funeral, which apparently I have received some information that he didn't welcome Mica's family. It's not that they necessarily want, from what I've heard, that they necessarily wanted to have a separate funeral like that. I mean, I think they might have wanted to, but you know what I mean? But apparently he didn't welcome them to his church for the funeral that he was having for Mica. So it's very telling. Don't you think that's also very telling? If you look at this, the entirety of everything in this case, that the husband is having a funeral and all of her family members and friends are having another. I mean, oh my goodness. So anyway, the point is, after that, apparently the rumor is that he was trying to flee the country or whatever. I don't know where people are getting that. All that I saw on social media is that there was a barman that said, and I did put it on my community tab, that said like, I think he called him like a POS, you POS, sitting smiling in my bar right after your wife's funeral. I think that's what he said. So I know that he then, based on that, he went to a bar afterwards, smiling. Let's just quickly see. I had it here. Wait. Ooh, community tab. But I hope you guys have seen it. It was Mr. Martin Todd. Mr. Miller. Oh, he said, you are a sick SOB. Your wife's funeral just got over and you're sitting at my bar drinking with a smile on your face like nothing ever happened. That's what he said. Oh my. Okay. So now they say you are hereby summoned, Mica A. Miller versus John Paul Miller. You are hereby summoned and required to answer the complaint in this action, a copy of which is herewith served upon you, and to serve a copy of your answer to the said complaint to the subscribers at her office and all of that, right? From a law firm. Motion or rule request. This was about the hearing. I'm just still so shocked that this was, of course, he was served this on April 25th, and it was on April 27th that she died. Now, if we explore, because we have to consider all options, if we explore that she took her own life, and if she called 911 because she wanted her family to know, where her body was, because that's what's being reported. I think that's also what his girlfriend said, right? That Susie lady. Well, if that's the case, I don't know. My mind goes so many places like, damn, did she feel like she would never escape this guy? Did it feel that hopeless? Because he certainly seemed like he was not letting go. Putting trackers on her vehicle, slashing her tires and inside the car too, and all sorts of things. So... I just wonder if she felt completely hopeless, like I can never, ever escape this guy. Or was there a threat of some sort, like I'll hurt your family or I'll this and this? You just don't know. There's still so many layers to the case. No matter what they say the outcome is, there's still so many layers to this case. Not that, Mickey, it's really nice to see you here. You said, I cried when I watched her vigil. My ex also had a narcissistic God complex. Nobody believed he was capable of DV. She was so close to getting away. So close, right? Now, someone said, a pastor drinking in a bar? Well, this pastor does a lot of non-pastory things, huh? Right? Like a lot of things that he's busy with. I'm like, but that's not what pastors do. Like, I don't know what kind of pastor he is. Marianne says, sus. Thanks for being a member for 9 months. So this was that motion or rule request and was basically saying there's going to be a hearing on June 5th. Let me just check the date again there. Yeah, it was meant to be June 5th. Okay, to divorce him. So this one says, in the matter of the estate of Mica A. Miller, I am so personally appeared before me Sierra Francis, that's Mica's sister, who after first being duly sworn, deposes and states as follows. I am the petitioner in the proceedings which are pending before the probate court as to the appointment of a special administrator for my sister's estate. I am Mica's younger sister, having been raised by our parents, Michael Francis and Angelita Salas, with our siblings, Nathaniel, Destiny, Anna, and Abby. We ultimately settled in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in 2007 with our mom and stepdad. I was aware of Mica's family dynamics and relationship with her husband, respondent John Paul Miller, and stepchildren Celab, Asher, Logan, Eli, and Zach. Mica and I spoke every few days, texting daily, so much as to even create playlists together. Mica would drive to visit me and my family in Gaffney, South Carolina, at least once a month. I know my sister to have expressed the abuse and violence against her by her husband to others, including family members and members of the church congregation. Mica told me that there were people following her, keeping track of where she went. And you know what's so interesting is that he's got sermons talking about that, but he makes it as if it's a friend. Yeah, there was this friend that paid someone to follow his wife around, and he makes stories like that, but it's him. Okay, allegedly. So Mike told me there were people following her, keeping track of where she went. She thought that Mr. Miller hired people to follow her. Mr. Miller later confirmed this during a sermon that I watched. Mica confided in me that Mr. Miller was moving assets that were in his name, such as his vehicle, changing the deed to their house, to the church, and transferring interest in Crocodile Rocks to one of his sons. Now, as I say, I'm receiving a lot of information that I'm working through on email. Thank you so much to everyone who's sending me information. As you know, I protect all my sources. What I've heard is that she worked so many hours at that church and for him, and she got a very small allowance, a very small allowance per month. Oh, it's just horrible. Okay, so in February of 2024, Mr. Miller removed my sister's personal items from the home that they shared while she was admitted to Waccamaw Mental Health Facility and left them at the apartment of Diana Nyosi. My sister was not aware that her personal possessions had been removed from her residence until she was released from the hospital. Now, I've also been, I'm trying to listen to everything that everyone sends me, just so that I can get as much information as possible. Some of it I have to put a bit in the rumor category because it just sounds so out there. But there are former church members speaking out and saying that, the way that this pastor would influence their husbands as well, that they almost got admitted to the same mental facility too. That's concerning. Like if you don't submit to your husband, or if you ever reject sex that they want, then that's it. You're going to the mental institute, basically. And I'm like, wait, what? I mean, that sounds terrible. So they said prior to her admission to Waccamaw, I hope I'm saying that right. Am I? Waccamaw? Mica was gathering and sorting the evidence that she had to bring an attorney for filing for divorce to support her claims against Mr. Miller as to his abuse, character, his paramours and associates that he paid off or blackmailed. While at the facility, those documents, emails, files, etc. were removed from her phone, personal laptop, vehicle, and purse and never recovered. Now I'm hoping, can the FBI get involved? Because we know they can retrieve that type of info. It doesn't matter what he's done. They can retrieve it, right? So hopefully they have a phone or a laptop and things like that now. I mean, that's pretty dodgy. They say further, Michael was unable to access her iCloud account, email, or Facebook profile. Mr. Miller continued using at least one of Mica's accounts, causing any recipient to believe that it was Mica's communications. Oh my goodness. Also, Mr. Miller has been, the way that it's worded on these news articles is bad. He's been released. He's been released, and people are like, oh, he's been released from what, right? He's been released from his duties at the church, essentially suspended by that reverend. Remember, we read an article yesterday. If you missed it, go check it out. I've timestamped it for you. It starts at 35 minutes, okay? You got to hear that crap. Oh, my word. The things that the pastor was saying and the reverend, and just saying, no, there was no abuse, and just Mica's just basically crazy. The way they were talking about her, that's what really upsets me so much, because it's victim blaming, right? And so, anyway, that reverend has now said he's been released from his duties, for now. For, I don't know, healing and counseling and grieving and all of that stuff. So Mica talked about what she wanted her life to be like following her divorce from Mr. Miller. Having traveled for a church mission this past fall, from October 15th to October 27th, Mica was intending to participate in additional missions, even to live part-time in Kenya. Mica recently shipped some of her personal items to Kenya in preparation for a stay there. I hope they can get those items back, right? Shame. Oh my goodness. Okay, stand by. I just want to see something if I'm missing anything. Wow. Okay, stand by. I'm looking. There's a breaking news update from, I just want to be careful with this, but it says from WPDE ABC 15. The cause of death for 30-year-old Mica Miller has been released by the Robeson County Medical Examiner. Full story. We'll look at that now. Just bear with me. Okay, stand by. We're going to look at that breaking news now. I just want to quickly show you this article, or this little line here that she said. She says, my sister was hopeful for her future after filing for divorce from John Paul. My sister also expressed to me that she was fearful that she would not make it to the divorce and that her life would be taken from her. It is my belief, based on conversations with my sister, that she told multiple people, including other family members. Mica stated to me on many occasions, if I end up with a bullet in my head, it was not by me, it was JP. See, that's just like, that's hard to process. If she said, if I end up with a bullet in my head, it was not by me, it was JP. And that's what she's telling family members. Now she ends up with a bullet in her head. I mean, what are we supposed to think? You know what I mean? Like, what are we, we've seen so many DV cases where people say, if I end up dead, it's him. In this case, it was so specific. That's why my thumbnail says eerie premonition, because I'm like, damn, that was very specific. Not like, if I end up killed, it's him. She said, if I end up with a bullet in my head, it was not by me, it was JP. Many occasions saying that. Then Mica forwarded a family group text message notifying us that Mr. Miller was served the divorce papers on April 25th of 2024. On April 27th, 2024, my sister, Mica A. Miller, was found dead as a result of a gunshot wound in Lumberton, North Carolina. I had the full support of my family in my request to be appointed as special administrator. I take this request and my potential appointment in this role very seriously. So, yes. I just feel like, people are saying people on social media are just making things up. There's nothing to make up. It's like, in our face. What are we supposed to think? It's just, oh man, it's terrible. So let's see now what they say here. This is now the breaking news. So I'll make sure to timestamp it for everyone as well. Is this an article? Yes. Mica Miller's cause of death released by NC Medical Examiner. Okay, can you see it? Wait, let me just do it like this so I can zoom in for you guys. Robeson County, North Carolina. The cause of death has been released for 30-year-old Mica Miller of Myrtle Beach amid the ongoing investigation. According to Robeson County Medical Examiner Dr. Richard Johnson, Miller died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Dr. Johnson said, based on the nature of the wound, that it is consistent with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and it was not in the back of the head, as it has been speculated. Johnson said he wasn't on the on-call medical examiner the weekend that Miller died, but he did go to the scene to assist the on-call medical examiner. He also serves as a regional pathologist for the North Carolina office of the chief medical examiner. Miller died on April 27th at Lumbee River State Park, according to the Robeson County Sheriff's Office. Oh my goodness. What are we guys thinking? I mean, I cannot tell you how sad this case makes me. It absolutely breaks my heart, because no matter what, Mica was fighting for her freedom. She was trying so hard to get away from this guy. And you just don't know if she really was struggling with all the mental health that he has now put out into the world, all her vulnerabilities. Like, she's got this and this and this, and he seems excited to share it, which is what makes me upset, because why is he doing that? Why is he degrading his wife like that? Why is he not protective? Like, what kind of husband does that? I know he was an estranged husband, but you know what I mean. Like, have some respect, But anyway, he was out there saying she's got, this diagnosis and this one and this one and this one. So if she was struggling and she'd been in this mental health, institute for multiple times and all of that, I mean, she just obviously, if this is what they're saying, is a suicide, right? Imagine how defeated she must have felt to get to that point then. And on a Saturday to be like, just makes very little sense, but to be like, okay, I'm on my way to work, and then not go to work and actually drive an hour north. And then call 911 is allegedly what happened. Allegedly, she called 911 is what's being reported. And she told that 911 dispatcher that she's going to take her own life. And so therefore, when I was digging, I've always wondered who found her. One report says that JP Miller says a kayaker found her. Others, like Fox News, says that it was law enforcement officers that found her. If it was law enforcement officers that found her, I'm like, okay, well, that would mean that they obviously got the 911 call, dispatcher heard it, dispatched the officers, and they found her. That makes sense. But this whole thing, my goodness. Tammy says, my jaw dropped when you just read the COD. And we've seen cases like this before. Remember Debbie Collier's case? Oh my word. That case is just like, suicide? Really? It's difficult, right? But we can't judge what a person's mental state could be. Suicide doesn't always make sense. But there's so many red flags in this case. There's so many. But as I say, even if the estranged husband is a complete scumbag, POS, abuser, all of the stuff, right? With charges. I'm not just saying it. He's got previous court records. They say that he kind of, wait. I just want to see exactly how it's worded. They say John Paul Miller, Myrtle Beach, had an assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature. The indictment charges Miller with hitting a woman twice with his vehicle at a high rate of speed on February 8th. And that was in... Which year was this? It was with his ex-wife. Like, this guy is like trying to ride women over. There's domestic violence charges. There seems to be tax fraud. There's all sorts of cheating going on. I mean, it's just the more that's coming out, it's just, I'm telling you, if you want to go down those rabbit holes, he is a complete asshole, you know. And Mica was apparently she had a binder and she was documenting all her abuse and things like that. Imagine then to get to the point that you just feel, I'm not going to be able to get away from this guy. Oh, it's so heavy. This case is so heavy, so upsetting, so sad. Okay. Hope for me, Farm said, I wish people understood just how bad it is trying to navigate DV and the aftermath. I truly feel someone was there with her, but I truly feel someone was there with her, but if not, she was driven to this. I worry about, even as I said, if this guy is a coercive controller and a stalker and he's threatening and all the stuff we're going to look at still. We're going to continue with the document there. I want to show you the police reports of what he did before to her. You know, like slashing her tires and things like that. All of that. It just doesn't... Oh, my word. Sorry. I'm losing my speech because I'm just so shocked. I'm just so shocked that this is like... Okay, if he's doing all of those things, I wonder if he didn't threaten her in any way. Or if there's any accountability. Is there any? Is this like a teaching moment? Is there going to be any accountability for the abuse that he inflicted on her? If that pushed her to the place where she's going to take her own life like that as well. Very statistically small chance of that happening. Are there any consequences? Is he going to get arrested for other things or not? Because I think the whole world, we're all connecting over the outrage of his behavior that we're hearing about, right? I mean, look at that protest that happened on Sunday. All these like hundreds of people gathering to be like, stop the silence, you know, break this pattern of domestic violence and justice for Mica and all of that. Everyone together united in this is not okay. What happened here is definitely not okay, right? Ooh, Chasing Stardust said her last video with her black shirt, her hair's loose, she seems to be saying goodbye. Oh man. Okay, so this one is, we still have this document here. I just want to see quickly. Okay. First I'm going to show you the police report, then I'm going to go back to what her brother also wrote there. It's just ironic, isn't it, that she said, if I end up with a bullet in my head, wasn't me, it was JP. And that's how she ends up dying? Wow. Okay. Now, yeah, the other thing is also the timing of how fast he knew that she had died and that it was suicide. That's interesting because they've only just announced it to the public. It just adds to the red flags that he's already flying. So this was, let me just see the date here, 11th of March of 2024. This says, let me just zoom in for you guys. Oh. Okay, on 3/11/2024, HCPD officers were dispatched to Margarita Drive in the Myrtle Beach area of Horry County for a report of a razor blade being placed in her tire at the location of Springmaid Drive. RO spoke with, I guess, victim 1, who stated that this is the second time a razor has deflated her tire in the last week. V1 stated that she was at Springmaid Pier around 1:30. Stated that as she was leaving, she heard a pop and noticed that a piece of metal was protruding from her tire. V1 made it home and found the tire had almost fully deflated by that point. RO observed the tire, and upon removal of the metal piece, it was found that the metal was a tire deflation device that can be purchased online. Okay, then look at his online records. V1 believes S1, probably suspect 1 for S1, may have placed or had the item placed in her tire. She has noticed strange activity and what she believes as people following or watching her. V1 stated that S1 has a history of similar actions against her. Evidence was not sufficient to prove that suspect 1 placed the razor device under the tire. Nothing further. Eddie, don't worry. Thank you so much for being a member for a year. Angie Maiden says justice for Mica. Puzzled Two Pieces says, remember she had some mental health issues which have impacted how she's responding to all of this. I mean, imagine the strength to deal with someone like that for years. And then to finally be like, I'm gonna get away from this guy. But then expressing to her family she's really worried that she's not gonna make it through the divorce, that she's not actually gonna end up alive on the other side of this divorce. Ah, that is just so sad. Here, and I mean, he's, still going on sushi dates and all sorts of things. He's fine, by the looks of it. On 3/11 of 2024, I responded to 8756 Highway 17, BYP, which is the East Coast Honda dealership in the Myrtle Beach section of Horry County in reference to harassment. Upon my arrival, I spoke with the victim, which advised that she was just out with one of our officers getting a report for an unknown person slashing her tires. She advised the officer helped her change her tire, and then she went to the gas station for gas and then straight to East Coast Honda to get her tire fixed. She advised that while at the gas station, the suspect in this incident showed up next to her at the pump trying to talk to her. She told him to go away, that she doesn't want to talk, and then when she pulled her phone out to record, he sped off, which we saw him do that yesterday on a clip that I showed. Thank you, Black Widow, for the heart, and yes, thanks for being a member for 16 months. G.E. Everett says, gang stalking is real. Okay. Leslie says, I'm late. However, I've seen trials with experts, everything from bruising that should be on the fingers to the path of the bullet, etc. Him announcing it was self-induced before police said it's too much. Yeah, and he said self-induced, right? Not self-inflicted. Remember the Daniel Howard trial we just watched together? He's going to be sentenced in May now as well. That's an interesting one. If you didn't see that, he tried to say it, his wife shot herself, and that was proven otherwise. So I wish they had those experts on here just to make sure. Woody said, keep up the good work, Gisela. Oh, thank you so much. So not only did he slash her tires, but then he's following her to a gas station. They redacted his name, but okay. Someone's going to say, you don't even know it's him. We don't know it's him, right? So here, Mica was documenting everything. She said, they said, while I was out with the victim, she received a no-caller ID call, which ended up being the suspect. The suspect was advised that the victim does not want any further contact, and if he proceeds, then warrants may possibly be written up. The suspect acknowledged the advisory by saying, okay, on VWC, the victim advised me that she was afraid of her life. So she even told the police, I am terrified that this guy's going to kill me. Okay. She also advised that she blocks his numbers and still gets calls and texts from him on other numbers after clearing the call and my departure. Yes, and then, from the Honda dealership, the victim had texted me and stated that the mechanics had found a tracking device on her vehicle. And apparently she found that multiple times. So about an hour later, she had notified me that she was at the magistrate's office trying to get a restraining order. I asked the victim if she could come get the GPS from her, and she said yes. While I was standing out in front of the magistrate's office with the victim in white, in color Honda Accord, had slow rolled down the Scipio lane in front of the magistrate's office, and the victim stated that was the suspect in her car driving by. The vehicle then sped up and drove off. Nothing further. Oh my gosh. Kimberly in Japan, thank you so much. You said, I'm not sure about religions. Wait, I'm not sure about religions, but all I can do is pray, hope, wish. This doesn't mean it's a wrap-up. Mica deserves so much justice. I know, right? Unfortunately, sometimes, as we've seen in cases like this, they're like, yep, that's it. End of story. And we're like, wait, what? Any consequences for anyone that could have contributed to this? I wonder. That'll be interesting to see. Thank you so much, Kelly. Really appreciate it. So now we've seen those documents. I quickly want to go back to this one. So if you didn't see the breaking news, the Robeson County Department Sheriff's Office has said that the coroner has found that Mica died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. That it's suicide. Very sad. Very, very sad. Phoebe said so much evidence and witnesses of the torture that he put her through. I cannot imagine what her family's feeling right now. Imagine it, hearing that. Because they would, probably hear the news in a similar time as we all would hear it. It's just so sad. So this is now her brother that said Nathaniel Francis, okay? I'm the brother of the petitioner, Sierra Francis, and decedent, Mica Miller, in the proceedings which are pending before the probate court as to the appointment of Sierra Francis as special administrator for my sister Mica's estate. I am Mica's only brother, having been raised by our parents, Michael Francis and Angelita Salas, with our siblings, Destiny, Sierra, Anna, Abby, in Wichita, Kansas. My mom and my siblings, apart from my older sister Destiny, moved to Horry County in 2007. I was aware of Mica's family dynamics and relationship with her husband, John Paul Miller, and stepchildren. I saw Mica frequently as we both lived in Horry County and spoke to her on a weekly basis. I was also a member of Solid Rock, where both John Paul and Mica worked for several years until I left the congregation due to the behaviors I observed. Mica confided in me that John Paul moved her belongings out of their marital residence and in with Diana Niosi so that he could keep an eye on her. This guy. Following this, Mica then retained an attorney for the purpose of filing for divorce from her husband and joined a new church, which we also saw, right? Kelly Mack said, not sure why law enforcement couldn't or wouldn't remove any firearms once a RO was issued. Even that may have helped. Good point, Kelly, good point. They said, I've received communications in the past from John Paul Miller stating that he knew no reason for divorce, but he wanted a separation, and he gave reasons why. The email that I received on April 3rd of 2023 included a forwarded email from Mr. Miller to Mica dated April 1st of 2023 to an email address that did not appear to be Mica's. Just 2 weeks later, Mica forwarded me an email from Mr. Miller dated April 15th of 2023 to her correct email address as shown. Mica told me of legal documents that she prepared so that I would be able to make decisions for her well-being. However, those documents were not located. The only legal documents discovered appointed Mr. Miller as her power of attorney. Mica made several police reports over the last few weeks of her tires being slashed and tracking devices being found in her car. In Mr. Miller's email forwarded to me, he apologizes to Mica for the tires and causing damage to her vehicle. Mr. Miller's email to my sister continued to state that he was angry when Mica confided or put her family before him. And that made him want to hurt her. In his words, and now hear this. Here's what a pastor doesn't usually say. This is what he said. In his words, when someone hurts me, I try to hurt them back rather than forgive. And instead of me forgiving you, I just attack and try to cause pain. Okay. Mica told me on numerous occasions that she feared John Paul and just wanted to escape him. Our family is very supportive of one another, and especially in this time of grieving, I believe that my sister Sierra is the appropriate person to step into Mica's shoes and continue what was started by her, both to secure assets and determine her portion of the marital estate. Oh my word, here's the magistrate summons. So now we've looked at everything there. Wow. So let me just quickly see if there's anything that I can show you. Because there were a few things that I was going to show you, but now we've got the breaking news. Let's just see what this was. Oh, I think this was one of these is about him being suspended of sorts, being released from his church duties for now. I would not say to grieve. Need some space, right? From all the heat he's getting. Yeah, so here again, afraid for her life. We looked at that as well. We looked at this directly from the police report. Thank you so much to Grizzly Cat for helping me get those documents. I really appreciate it. Not that Mickey said, I hope the family gets a second opinion. The thing that I can't let go of is why did she drive there? She could have done that closer. And why did she get a divorce if that's what she was planning? No matter the outcome, she deserves justice. That's why one of her friends said that she spoke to her on the Friday and Mica was excited to see her at church on Sunday and she was making appointments for haircuts and she was planning her future, right? She had plans. She was fine at that time. And so the friend is saying, what happened between Friday night and Saturday? And apparently, where was, because, I've been asking lots of questions on my live stream, where was the pastor on Friday and Saturday? Allegedly, apparently, people have emailed that spotted him at football games for his kids, I think it was. They said the ex-wife was actually there and his girlfriend was there with him. That's what they said, okay? And so they said that he was acting a little bit sus in the sense that he bought everybody dinner. On Friday night, he was just so excited buying everyone dinner, and on Saturday, he was there again. So, okay, that seems like a pretty strong alibi. Already there, I'm like, damn, okay, so lots of people probably saw him there. But I don't know why he's buying everybody dinner, but he didn't usually do that. Why is he feeling so happy? You know what I mean? Kili. Is that how I say that? It's almost like in South Africa. Kili. Family should get a second opinion. Warren Holly said, does she have a history of suicide attempts? I don't know, because the only account of that we have is from her estranged husband, who just loves telling the world all about her mental health struggles, you know. So Tina says she didn't do it. No way. Yeah, the thing is, in this case, I think there's always going to be questions, right? Like for me, in Debbie Collier's case, there's always going to be questions, right? No matter what they said that's suicide, I'm like, it's very hard to believe. That one is very difficult to wrap my mind around. You know, if you don't know about Debbie Collier's case, go check it out. But like that day, she went like dressed in her favorite sports teams, like a gaming jersey. She went to Burger King. She went to the dollar store, right? And then she was on her way back home, but she went like an hour away, an hour and a half to go shopping. Turned around, was on her way home, and then made a U-turn and parked off the side of the road. And then there was a tarp, and then there was some sort of explosion. Oh my word, that whole case is just like, what? So yeah, Stefan's like, that's convenient. Right, okay, so we've read through this. Let's just see what this one says. Oh, this one, you see, the notice states that, yeah, wait, there's the notice. Where's it? A Myrtle Beach pastor was released, and people, released from prison. No, not prison. Released from his duties amid an ongoing investigation into the death of his wife, 30-year-old Mica Miller. The overseer of Solid Rock Church in Market Common Center noticed to its members on Sunday that Pastor John Paul Miller was released from all ministerial functions. The notice states that Miller is released for a time of healing, counsel, and guidance pursuant to our government instrument. The Solid Rock Church's website was also suspended over the weekend. The website link now redirects to a webpage reading this account has been suspended. Mica Miller was found dead in Robeson County last weekend. On Thursday of last week, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office said that they started an investigation at Lumber River State Park, where she died, to determine the cause of her death. John Paul told ABC 15 in an interview last week that Mica's death was a suicide, though law enforcement has not released a cause of death. Like, how did he know? How did he know? Unless they told him, look, man, she called 911 and she said she's going to kill herself, and then we went out there and we found her. I don't know if that's how he knew. I would love to know what the police told him, because he was so quick on Sunday to announce it to his entire congregation at the end, and it was just done so badly. It was just so terrible. If Mica could be watching him doing that, I mean, can you imagine? Cracking jokes first, and then just announcing to everyone, and then also saying, oh, okay, in a week from now, there's going to be the funeral. Right. Interesting. So, okay, they said they've not released it, but now they have released it. They said it's suicide. There's so many things that I could show you. Just hold on 1 second. I just want to see what is going on here. Oh, yeah, that was there. There was also a Good Morning America episode today. I was waiting to see if the Robeson County Sheriff's Office, are you going to say anything yourself? No, not yet. Not yet. This, I think this is the dad, which, by the way, I want to correct that. Somebody emailed to say there is this misconception that the dad has died, but he hasn't. He's alive. Yeah, apparently JP Miller's dad is still alive and kicking, doing his thing, and damn, he's got some charges in his past. He's done a lot of bad things. Auntie Ree says, who exactly relieved him of his duties in a church he owned? I think it's that reverend that we read about yesterday. Remember that article I read? Reverend Randall something. I think that guy, right? Now, this is Reginald Wayne Miller. He's still got this website about his missions. I think this is him. Reginald Wayne Miller has trained students from 53 nations. He's now going to those nations to help graduates to begin Bible colleges of their own country. For their own country. Oh, apparently he does other things other than teach the Bible in these other countries. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. CJ says, who does the gun belong to? Good question. Now, they say here, just look at this. I just want to show you this first paragraph. Reginald Wayne Miller, as the founder of Cathedral Bible College, and his students are sentenced. I'm like, sentenced by the Holy Spirit to serve, not through forced labor, but by being arrested by God's love. Like, damn, okay. He's like true criming this little bio he's got going on here. Like, what is this, sir? Anyway, so there's that. What is this one? This is the message that went out today. Actually, this went out on Sunday, I think. Yeah. Myrtle Beach pastor fired from ministry amid investigation into wife's death. See, they say it all different ways. Released of duties Objection Cake says, I think released of duties is not meant to be a term of punishment. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The pastor of a Myrtle Beach church whose wife was found dead in Robeson County has been fired, according to an email obtained by News 13 and sent to church members on Sunday. I, Charles Randall, by virtue of the authority vested in me as overseer, hereby release Pastor John Paul Miller from all ministerial functions for the duration of healing, counsel, and guidance in accordance with our government instrument, the email reads. And he was just saying in the previous article, the one we read yesterday, it's timestamped 35 minutes, that same guy was saying, well, if I didn't see anything to release him over, everything's fine. But now just like the next day, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he's been released from his duties. So then, that's what he says it over there. John Paul Miller's wife, Mica, was found dead on April 27th in Lumber River State Park. We'll quickly go there on the maps as well, if I have it somewhere here. Right, memorials held on Grand Strand to remember Myrtle Beach woman amid death investigation. The report shows that Mica Miller had filed 2 complaints with the Horry County Police before her death on March 11th. Before her death, she filed it on March 11th, the first of which was filed after a slashed tire on her vehicle was found near Springmaid Pier. The second, we've gone over. Both reports omitted the suspect's identity, but Miller said that she noticed strange activity in what she believed to be people following or observing it. Miller also told officers that the suspect has a history of similar actions against her. Then they said on Monday, Robeson County Sheriff Bernice Wilkins told News 13 in an email that he expected the report to be available on Tuesday. We now have detectives in South Carolina and plan to release the results of our full investigation into the death of Mica Miller tomorrow, Wilkins said. Well, they spelled her name wrong there, but okay. Right. So let me quickly see what I have here. Wait. Where's I'm sure I had a map there for you guys. Lumber River State Park. I just wanted to show you. Joe Jackalone was also doing some map time today. He's a former NYPD sergeant, the Sarge. So as I said, I'm going to link that episode for you as well if you want to go check it out. So here is the Lumber River State Park, which is an hour away from, where Mica stayed. So if we just say Myrtle Beach, I just want to say an hour 21. It's odd. But you just never know what state someone is in mentally. But anyway, going from there, an hour 21-ish, 70 miles or so. Driving here. And then, okay, where's the Google man? Bring the Google man. Can you put him there? He does not want to go there. He doesn't want to go there. Isn't Google man? Can we see a little bit, just a little bit around? I want to show you the area. Shame, man. So this would have been where she last drove. I hope you guys can see. Let me just bring my mouse over here. Okay. Sorry if I'm sparkling when I do that. There. Okay. So I'm not sure exactly where she would have gone in, but this is the Lumber River State Park, Princess Anne access area. Is Stefan warning you guys that I'm busy driving now? You must buckle up. Yeah, Raptor Chick says we need to respect the medical examiner's results and not create the label of murder on an innocent person. That's disgusting too. Absolutely. And I never, on my channel, I've called him a murderer. I think he's a complete asshole for the way that he degraded his wife, the way that he announced it, the way that he seemed so excited to tell the whole world about her mental health problems, the sermons leading up to that one where he announced her death. Whoa, the things that he says, it's just disrespectful, right? So disrespectful, especially if he said, I got a call last night, my wife has died, it was self-induced in North Carolina. If it's self-induced, then why are you telling everyone about her? He says, you all know she had mental health problems. Like, yeah, because you preached about it quite a lot, but why? Why do you do that? Why don't you protect her? You know what I mean? Obviously, we know he seems to be the opposite of protecting her. Lumber River State Park. So, shame, man. I don't know where she would have parked or gone in or where. I still don't know any of those details. Like, was she in her car? Did she get out of the car? Did she go for a walk? I don't know. I'm just looking what you guys said. You guys say so many questions. And also that, you guys are saying, Kim says, was there a note? I mean, that's a good question as well. That's what I'm saying. Was she threatened in any way? Like, what would lead her to suddenly be like, okay, no, I'm going to go out there and this is now the end of the road for me. Why? Why on that day, if the day before her friends are saying, no, she's making plans. Now, I know. That depression and especially suicidal ideation can be well hidden from people, you know. If you think of many public cases, they seem fine right before it happens. Okay, I hope this is not triggering for anyone. I'm just like, damn, to think that she would drive out here. And I don't know if she'd ever been here. Her family said they've got no ties to this area. But her husband said she liked hiking, walking, nature parks. So how do we know that she didn't go here before? Maybe this was one of her favorite places for all we know, right? Shame, man. But okay, I just wanted to show you the area. It looks very peaceful. I don't know if anyone's ever been there. Have you been there? Okay. Oh my goodness, that case. Amy says, am I saying it right? This reminds me of the Conrad case. Remember his girlfriend kept egging him on to kill himself? I remember that. I do remember that case as well. So yes, we've looked at that. Okay, I think that's it for now, especially with that news. Let me just quickly see if I go hashtag justice for Mica. I actually want to quickly check the Facebook groups. Just hold on. Let's just see what's the latest. If you go on X, okay, my handle is True Crime Grizzly. And if you go hashtag justice for Mica and you search for latest, you will find all the latest stuff. So they said WFLA News is also saying breaking. Mica Miller, a pastor's wife, found dead last week, had a tracking device placed on her car and told police she was afraid for her life a month before her death. Then they're telling the story, and now people are saying, of course, breaking that her death has been ruled a suicide. Wow. Okay, so quickly, let me just check this Justice for Mica page. Let's just refresh it. Marika says, was it her voice on that 911 call? I know no, I don't want to take anyone to conspiracy land. I just know that these days, you know, you could simulate people's voices with apps and things. But I don't know. And I wonder if that 911 call will ever, I mean, it would be so distressing. I don't know. Do we really want to hear it? I don't know. But I wonder if it'll ever be released, right? For people to analyze. I'm not too sure. Okay. Just looking on the Justice for Mica group, breaking news, Mica Miller's cause of death released by North Carolina medical examiner. And people are saying, my guess is he will not be held accountable for anything, just like his father. Oh no. Esther said, I did send you an email with a video of Mica talking about her troubles. Maybe you can look into it after the live. Thank you so much. I think we've seen all the videos. We've seen two or three of them together here, and I've definitely watched all of her videos. Shame, man. So I'm not discounting that she struggled with her mental health. She said so sometimes she did, right? And either way, what went on here, it just feels so devastating. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Let me just do this. How about that? I hope that you are all okay. These cases, they can get under our skin. They're very heavy. They're very, very sad. So make sure you take care of your mental health as well, okay? A lot of these cases can be quite triggering. I find some more than others, of course. So I hope that you're all okay. Dixie Down said, is there proof of the 911 call, just Susie's narrative? I don't know at this point, but I see there's many people making FOIA requests, including myself. Maybe one day they'll release that. Maybe they won't. We'll have to see. If they do, if there's anything I could show you, I don't know if the police are going to have a press conference. Doesn't look like it. Do you think they're going to have a press conference? If there's a press conference, if there's more documents, if there's an official report that we can see, if there's 911 calls, if there's any information that I have, or if anybody contacts me, I will keep you posted, okay? And just remember, if you do contact me, my email is grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com, and I protect all my sources. So whatever you want to tell me, don't worry. I'm not going to put your name on blast or take screenshots and just start sharing everything out there. I don't do that. Janet says, justice for Mica. What a very sad loss. She just turned 30. Horrible tragedy, terrible loss. Thank you everyone for being here, and I'll see you all again very soon. Stay safe.